There's a moment silent, invisible, but unmistakable when everything you thought you understood about your life begins to collapse. It doesn't always come with thunder, or lightning, or a divine vision. Sometimes it comes in the form of a subtle, chronic discomfort, a whisper that grows louder each day, a job that drains your spirit, a relationship that no longer fits, a restlessness that refuses to be silenced. You try to ignore it. You try to push through. But deep down, you know the universe is forcing you to wake up. And the longer you resist, the louder it gets. We don't always recognize the signs at first. Often they arrive as inconvenience, chaos, or loss. You lose something you thought you needed. You're betrayed by someone you trusted. The plan you were so sure about falls apart. But what if that wasn't failure? What if it was divine intervention? What if the universe wasn't punishing you but pulling you away from illusions you were too afraid to let go of on your own? You see, awakening is not a gentle process. It's a shattering, a burning away of everything that is false. And most of what we believe about ourselves, our worth, our path, our place in the world was built on shaky ground. So when the universe wants you to wake up, it doesn't ask politely. It shakes the foundation. It removes what you thought was stable. It exposes the cracks. And in that moment, you're forced to ask the deeper questions. Who am I really? Why am I here? What am I pretending not to see? There is a sacred intelligence behind the unraveling. You might feel like your life is falling apart, but what if it's actually falling into place? What if the breakdown is the doorway to your breakthrough? The first sign the universe is waking you up is disruption. Sudden changes, unexplainable shifts, people leaving, opportunities vanishing. And in the absence of what once distracted you, you're left with only one thing: yourself. That is by design, because until you face yourself, you cannot remember who you are. And when you're finally alone with your truth, another sign appears, a deep inner knowing that something bigger is calling you. You can't explain it, you can't prove it, but you feel it, in your gut, in your chest, in your dreams. A quiet urgency that says, there is more. More than the grind, more than the noise, more than the game of chasing validation. And now you can no longer pretend you don't feel it. That is the universe whispering, wake up. Have you ever noticed how everything becomes unbearable when you're out of alignment? The job you used to tolerate becomes suffocating. The people you once admired begin to feel hollow. The life you built with so much effort starts to feel like a costume. That's not your failure. That's your soul refusing to be asleep any longer. When you're asleep, the ego leads. When you're waking up, the soul takes over. And the soul will not let you stay in what no longer serves your evolution.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Another sign the universe is waking you up is synchronicity. A book falls off the shelf with the exact message you needed. A stranger says something that feels like it was meant only for you. Numbers repeat. Dreams intensify. You feel watched not in fear, but in awe. Something is guiding you. Something old and wise. The veil between worlds thins. And suddenly, you're not just living a life, you're on a quest. But the signs aren't always mystical. Sometimes the universe uses pain as a teacher, a diagnosis, a heartbreak, a betrayal, something so raw it brings you to your knees. And in that darkness, the old you dies. The part of you that lived for approval, the part of you that avoided truth, the part of you that settled. You grieve that death, but then you rise, not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. That is the sacred fire of awakening. We often ask, why is this happening to me? But what if the real question is, what is this waking me up to? That question changes everything. Because now, you're not a victim of life. You're a participant in your own rebirth. The universe doesn't destroy without purpose. It doesn't take without giving. Every loss is a recalibration. Every ending is an invitation, but only if you're willing to see with spiritual eyes. Another sign the universe is waking you up is the emergence of old wounds. You thought you healed them. You thought you moved on. But here they are again, louder, deeper, sharper. Why? Because you're strong enough now to meet them fully. When the universe calls you to awaken, it doesn't just give you light. It gives you darkness to transform, shadows to integrate, truths to embody. That is the real work, not escaping your pain, but alchemizing it. And then something shifts. You stop resisting. You stop blaming. You start listening. Listening to your dreams. Listening to your body. Listening to the silence beneath the noise. And in that silence, you hear something ancient. A voice that says, you are ready. Ready to step into your purpose. Ready to live with integrity. Ready to stop being who the world told you to be and start being who your soul remembers you are. Let me ask you a question that could change everything. Are you willing to let go of the life you plan to step into the life that is calling you? That moment of surrender, that's the turning point. That's when the universe stops whispering and begins guiding. You'll feel it. The right people show up. The right words find you. The path appears, one step at a time, not because it's easy, but because it's true. And truth once felt cannot be forgotten. It becomes the compass, the fire, the light in the storm. You begin to trust the unknown. You begin to find beauty in the mystery. You begin to realize that waking up isn't about achieving more, it's about remembering more. Remembering your divinity, your power, your purpose. And that is the greatest miracle of all. But don't be fooled, awakening is not a finish line. It's a lifestyle. It's a constant shedding, a constant returning. You'll forget. You'll fall asleep again. But each time you'll wake up faster. You'll remember more quickly. And the universe will keep sending signs, not to punish you, but to remind you, to call you back, to say, there's more. Keep going. So when everything falls apart, pause. When nothing makes sense, breathe. When the pain is too much, listen. Because in that space, the universe is speaking. Through the mess, through the silence, through you. And if you listen closely, you'll hear the message beneath it all. Wake up, now. The world needs the real you. The signs are everywhere. In your discomfort, in your longing, in your breakdowns, in your breakthroughs. They are not random, they are divine. And they are relentless, not because the universe is cruel, but because your soul made a promise. A promise to remember, a promise to rise, a promise to live in truth, no matter the cost. So here you are on the edge of a new reality. You can go back to sleep, or you can rise. Rise into the unknown. Rise into your power. Rise into the sacred remembering of who you are. The signs will keep coming. The question is, are you ready to see them? As you step into this new awareness, you'll begin to notice something else, an inner pull towards solitude. Not loneliness, but sacred solitude. A quiet hunger for space, for silence, for time away from the noise of the world. This too is a sign. When the universe is waking you up, it often removes your distractions. People start to fade. Crowds exhaust you. Small talk becomes unbearable. Because your soul is trying to create the conditions for remembrance. And in the stillness, what was once hidden begins to rise. You may feel like you're losing your mind, but you're actually coming back to your heart. The structures of your old identity, your career, your status, your roles begin to feel like costumes you no longer want to wear. You wake up in the morning and wonder, Whose life am I living? That's the moment when your soul is reclaiming the steering wheel. It's terrifying at first, but it's also the most honest you've ever been. You're no longer living for approval. You're living for truth. Another sign? You stop resonating with the people you once called home, not because you're better than them, but because your frequency is shifting. You crave depth, not drama, meaning, not noise. You no longer have the energy to participate in things that drain your spirit. And although this can feel isolating, it is a sacred recalibration. The universe is clearing space for people who match your soul's new vibration. People who mirror your evolution, not your old wounds. And it doesn't stop there. Your body begins to speak louder. Physical symptoms arise: fatigue, tension, illness without explanation. This isn't random. It's energy trying to move. Your body is the final temple of your awakening. It holds everything your mind avoided. So when the universe is waking you up, your body becomes the messenger. Listen to it. Honor it. Don't numb it. Ask it, what are you trying to show me? And then breathe into the answer. The dreams become vivid. The nights become sacred. You start waking at strange hours: 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4:44 a.m. Why? Because the veil is thinner then. Your soul is more accessible. That's when downloads come. Insights, guidance, you. And then comes the test. A moment that feels like a storm. Everything seems to go wrong at once. The people you leaned on vanish. The plans you made collapse. The dreams you held dear dissolve. This is not a punishment. This is the final threshold. This is the universe asking, do you trust me? Not with your mind, but with your life. Will you leap into the unknown? Will you surrender the life you built for the life that's trying to be born? That leap is the moment of awakening. It doesn't come with fanfare. It comes in silence. It comes in the quiet yes whispered in your spirit. It comes when you choose truth over comfort, when you choose alignment over attachment, when you choose intuition over logic. That is the moment the universe aligns with you fully, and the path begins to unfold, not all at once, but step by step. Each step guided, each step sacred. You'll know you've awakened when your outer life no longer defines your inner worth. When you can sit in the dark with yourself and feel peace. When you can lose everything and still feel whole. When your joy is no longer dependent on outcomes and your peace no longer tied to control. That is spiritual maturity. That is the fruit of awakening. Not a life without pain, but a life lived from presence, from purpose, from power. But awakening is not a one-time event. It's a cycle. You awaken, you forget, you reawaken, each time deeper, each time more fully. The signs never stop coming. They evolve with you. They challenge you. They strip you bare. But they also reveal your divinity. They remind you that you are not just a body or a name or a story. You are consciousness itself. You are the dreamer within the dream. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Have you been ignoring the signs? Have you been bargaining with your soul? Trying to stay asleep just a little longer? Trying to hold on to comfort, even if it costs you your peace? This is your moment to stop, to breathe, to listen. Because the signs are not going away. They will keep knocking until you open the door. And the longer you wait, the louder they become. The relationship that feels misaligned? That's a sign. The job that crushes your spirit? That's a sign. The anxiety that won't go away, no matter how much you achieve? That's a sign. The exhaustion that sleep can't fix? That's a sign. These are sacred signals. They are not curses. They are catalysts. They are the universe's way of saying, you are not born for this smallness. Wake up. And when you do, when you finally say, I surrender, everything begins to shift. Not always externally, but internally. Your lens changes. Your energy changes. You stop chasing. You start aligning. You stop forcing. You start flowing. And the universe, in response, begins to move mountains on your behalf. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you're finally living in harmony with your soul's blueprint. You'll begin to see the magic behind the madness, the purpose behind the pain, the intelligence behind the chaos. You'll look back and realize that every breakdown was a breakthrough in disguise. Every closed door was divine redirection. Every delay was sacred preparation. And every loss was a clearing for something greater to enter. That is the grace of awakening. It doesn't always make sense in the moment, but it always reveals truth in time. And truth, once known, becomes your compass. You no longer need validation. You no longer need to fit in. You no longer need to prove or perform. You simply become fully, authentically, eternally. And that authenticity is your power. Because when you are truly awake, your very presence becomes medicine. You heal others just by existing. You become a lighthouse in a world still asleep. Remember, the signs are not outside of you. They are within you. Your resistance is a sign. Your longing is a sign. Your tears are signs. Your dreams, your aches, your triggers, they all speak. The question is, are you willing to listen deeply enough to hear what they're actually saying? You are not being punished. You are being purified. You are not being broken. You are being reborn. The awakening may feel like chaos, but it is the most sacred order unfolding. Trust the unraveling. Trust the signs. Trust the silence. And above all, trust yourself. Because the universe is not somewhere out there. It is you. And when it forces you to wake up, it's because your highest self is calling you forward. Not to become something new, but to remember what you've always been. Light, consciousness, love, purpose. The signs have spoken. The invitation has been sent. The only question that remains is, will you answer the call?